Chardonnay friends. Well, it's finally happened. After almost 3 years to the day since Oxfordshire's most infamous pig botherer stepped down as Prime Minister, following the UK voting to leave the European Union, Theresa May has finally announced that she is calling it quits and she will step down as Prime Minister on the 7th of June. Now, I have to say, I did feel bad almost seeing her break down at the end of her speech today. And although there's a lot of flack which could well be directed at her, you've got to remember it's also her civil servants who are negotiating with the EU, and their civil servants have also let this country down very badly as well. I think that she'll be a lot happier outside of politics, and I certainly would not be surprised to see her resign as the MP for Maidenhead anytime soon. There's little sympathy for her, but she did a job that no man could do or wanted to do. The question now is who's going to place her in the top job? Well, the runaway favourite at the moment is Boris Johnson. Some people say he's bonkers, but he just thinks he's free. Having watched Sargon's video, in which he makes a great pitch in support of the Uxbridge and South Ruislip MP, I think it'd be quite funny to see Boris as Prime Minister, if only to see the absolute apoplectic and catatonic meltdown of Ramonas and the Liberal media. My personal tip for the top job is Dominic Raab. Seems very balanced and nuanced, and he's a leaver. That's the thing that the Tories have got to get right this time. Don't get a Remainer in when we're leaving. Leave means leave. It's pointless putting a Remainer in charge, as we'll just go through the whole shebang again. Theresa May's not the only leader stepping down today. Sir Vincent Cable's also called it quits, and he's going after 2 years in the top job. It looks as if one of Joe Swinson, Lila Moran or Ed Davey is going to replace him. And it looks like Ed Davey is going to be the one that they choose to replace Sir Vincent. Ed's got a lot of support and he's been touted as leader for many years, so it wouldn't be any surprise. Although some in the Liberal Democrats are not very happy, are they ever, and demanding a female leader at any and all cost. Whatever happens, it looks as if the fortunes of these two parties are going to sharply differ in the next couple of years, with the Conservatives possibly having to negotiate with the Brexit Party or UKIP if they stay in government, and the Liberal Democrats will be hovering disillusioned Labour voters in an attempt to become the main political opposition in the House of Parliament. The main challenge for the Liberal Democrats, however, will be ensuring that they can keep the pace ahead of the Greens and Change UK, possibly even Socialist Labour and other splinter parties, as these parties are growing in popularity with the younger Remain voters. Now, this could be problematic for the left, because if the Remain vote gets splintered all the way, no matter who they vote for, they'll just end up with the Conservatives in charge, because there seems to be more of a block and settlement with the Conservatives, Brexit, UKIP on the right. The left seem to change their mind every week, and if they're not happy, well, we're going to form another party, and we'll form another party, and another party after that. The votes will keep going down, and the Conservatives will keep getting them back in, because the people on the right will just say, well, there's only one or two parties, so it doesn't matter. Finally, no, I don't think there'll be a general election this year, but I can foresee one in 2020, or at least once the UK has broken up the EU from within, with the help of AFD and Front National. One commentator, I think it was in the Times, but I'm not 100% sure, recently mentioned the possibility of an earlier than normal general election, possibly March or May 2020. And that could well define the future of the United Kingdom, not just for the next 5 years, but for decades to come. The decade-defining vote, I believe this commentator used. With the seismic shift internationally in politics towards populism and the right, the left know that their time is short and losing the next general election, which they're likely to when you consider UKIP have come to prominence. We've had Brexit, we've had Donald Trump, you've had Jair Bolsonaro, you've had the new Australian PM. It's a sign to the left that they are losing the argument, losing support. There's even talk that Trudeau could go soon because people have had enough of him in Canada. at least once all the madness and the shouting and retching and sobbing comes to an end, we can hopefully have a period of détente, which we all badly need, whichever side of the political debate we're on. It'll do the left-wingers a lot of good just to calm down and not be in a constant state of rage with a blood pressure higher than what Keith Richards is on a daily basis. Short life, friends.